Okay, I'm gonna be going over the warm-up. Sorry, I'm not here, guys. I'm not feeling well. I had to leave early. Okay, so finding the vertex I have in standard form. So I know my vertex is going to be negative b over 2a. That's my x-coordinate. Whatever I get for this x-coordinate, I'm plugging back in for x, and I'm solving for y, which my vertex y I just call k. So negative b over 2a, the x-coordinate, is going to be negative 3 over 2 times 1, which is equal to negative 3 over 2. Now I have to plug this back in for my x to solve for y, or k. So k is the same thing as my y coordinate, which is equal to negative 3 over 2 squared plus 3 times negative 3 over 2 minus 4. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write this 3 over 1, and I'm just going to multiply straight across. And then this exponent here, I'm going to distribute to the negative 3 and to the 2. Now, the common mistake here, this negative 3, it's not negative 3 times 2. It's negative 3 to the second power. So negative 3 times negative 3 gives me a positive 9, and then 2 to the second power is 2 times 2, which is 4. And then multiplying this straight across, I'm going to have minus 9 over 2 minus, I'm going to write this as 4 over 1. And the reason I do that is all of my denominators are different, and I'm subtracting, so I need to get them to be the same. So my common denominator is going to be 4. So I'm going to multiply this by 2, by 2, by 4, by 4. So now I'm going to have 9 over 4 minus 18 over 4 minus 16 over 4. So I'm going to subtract 9 minus 18 is negative 9. Negative 9 minus 16 is negative 25 over 4. So my vertex is equal to negative 3 over 2, comma, negative 25 over 4. That's part A. All right, part B, find the x-intercepts. X-intercepts means when y is equal to 0. So I'm plugging in 0 for my y. So 0 is equal to x squared plus 3x minus 4. There's two ways that I can solve this now. One way is quadratic formula. The other way is factoring. And because there's no coefficient in front of this x squared, I'm going to factor. I think that might be a little bit easier for me. So factoring here, I have my negative 4 on top, my 3 on the bottom. A pair that multiplies to negative 4 and adds to 3 would be 4 and negative 1. So that means 0 is equal to x plus 4 times x minus 1. And I'm going to set each factor equal to 0. So 0 is equal to x plus 4, and then 0 is equal to x minus 1. So here I'm going to subtract 4. So x is equal to negative 4, and then I'm going to add 1 here. So x is equal to positive 1. So here are my x-intercepts. My y-intercept, talking about my y-intercept, that's when x is equal to 0. So if you want to think of it as like the opposite, y-intercept, x is 0, x-intercept, y is 0. So now I'm plugging in 0 for x. So I'm plugging in 0 here and 0 here. So y is equal to 0 squared plus 3 times 0 minus 4. So that means this term goes away, this term goes away, and all I'm left with is y is equal to negative 4. That would be my y-intercept. Find the domain and range. Now this is personal preference, but when I find the domain and range, I always like to draw a picture. Now with this picture, I know the y-intercept is negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's going to intersect there. My x-intercepts are negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And positive 1. And my vertex is here. They're fractions. I'm going to estimate it. The vertex has to be in the middle of my 2 points here. So I'm going to estimate my quadratic being around here. And this is my lowest point, my vertex here. So this lowest point was -3/2, comma -25/4. So the domain, we're talking about x values. Range, we're talking about y. My x values, because my arrow is going off to the left to infinity and my arrow is going off to the right into infinity, that means the domain is equal to all real numbers. Or you could write this as -infinity to infinity. Well, that infinity was really weird. And then the range is my y values. My lowest y value is -25/4. This is my y coordinate right here. That's my lowest point. So everything above that works. So y is greater than or equal to -25/4. All right, looking at number 2, solving system of linear equations. We can either use substitution or elimination. I prefer elimination. It's personal preference. I'm going to multiply this whole row by 2. I could have also multiplied the row by -4 to cross these 4's out. Remember, one has to be negative, one has to be positive. So this is going to be -2b, which is going to cross out with the positive 2b. And I'm going to distribute this 2 to all 3 of those terms. So I'm going to have -6 is equal to 4a plus 2b. Multiplying 2 times -6 gives me -12 is equal to 2a minus 2b. Now these cross out. That's what I wanted. 4a plus 2a gives me 6a. -6 minus 12 gives me -18. So now I can solve for a. Divide by 6 to both sides. So I know a is equal to -3. And to solve for my other variable, I can plug back in. It doesn't matter which equation I choose. I'm going to choose this equation. So -6 is equal to a minus b. Plugging in -3 for a, I get -6 is equal to -3 minus b. Add 3 to both sides. -6 plus 3 gives me a -3 is equal to -b, and divide by a -1, so b is equal to +3.